Formula One has always felt like a closed-off European members club.
Not really.
It's a billionaire's playground where heritage is everything and, let's be honest, new blood is unwelcome. But an American powerhouse, backed by one of the largest car companies in the world, is about to kick the door down. This isn't just a story about joining the grid. This is the story of how a tenacious American effort, now led by Cadillac, plans to break into Formula One. Not just by participating, but by challenging the very teams that tried to lock them out. They're bringing American industrial might to a gentleman's fight, and it's a battle that has already reached the highest levels of government. To get how big of a deal this is, you first have to understand the brick wall they ran into. When Michael Andretti, son of American racing royalty Mario Andretti, first announced he wanted to field an F1 team, the response from the paddock was chilly. In fact, it was openly hostile. Under its current rules, Formula One is basically a franchise. The 10 existing teams split the prize money, and they see an 11th team as someone else's hand in their pocket. So, they put up a massive financial roadblock, a $200 million anti-dilution fee. A fee so steep it was basically a "you can't sit with us" tax. The existing teams, mostly legacy European brands, argued that any new team had to bring tangible value to the sport. Then, in January 2024, Formula One Management, or FOM, delivered the final blow. They formally rejected Andretti's bid. Their reasoning was a bit of a slap in the face. They claimed the team wouldn't be competitive enough and therefore wouldn't add value. They argued Andretti would get more from F1 than F1 would get from Andretti. This was despite the sport's own governing body, the FIA, having already approved Andretti's application after finding them financially and technically ready. The message was clear. The club is closed. The American dream was dead on arrival. But Andretti had an ace up his sleeve, a big American ace. He didn't just come back to the negotiating table, he flipped it over. Andretti announced a full-blown partnership with one of the biggest names in automotive history, General Motors, entering under their luxury performance brand Cadillac. This wasn't just slapping a sticker on the side of a car. This was a statement. Suddenly, this wasn't just the Andretti racing family asking for a seat at the table. This was a titan of industry, a giant of American manufacturing, demanding entry. General Motors doesn't just build cars. They shape entire markets. For F1, a sport trying desperately to capture American fans with 3 Grand Prix in the US, telling a legendary American racing name and a colossal American manufacturer, no, well, that got complicated. The entire dynamic shifted. The arguments about adding value started to sound pretty hollow. How could anyone seriously argue that General Motors, a company with bottomless pockets, massive marketing power, and a century of engineering behind it, wouldn't add value? It was a strategic masterstroke. It forced F1 to reconsider, not because they wanted to, but because the PR nightmare of snubbing GM was becoming a massive headache. The first rejection was about protecting the other team's money, but now blocking the bid meant blocking Cadillac, and that was a whole different ballgame. While the suits were battling it out, Andretti and Cadillac were busy doing something crucial in the background. They were actually building a Formula One team. This wasn't just a PowerPoint presentation. They were spending real money, hiring top talent, and laying the groundwork for a serious operation, acting like their entry was a sure thing. They set up a state-of-the-art headquarters in Silverstone, UK, right in the heart of F1's Motorsport Valley, with another major base in Fishers, Indiana. They started poaching top-tier talent. They hired Graham Loudon, a respected veteran from the former Marussia F1 team, as team principal. They also brought in heavy hitters like former F1 CTO Pat Simons as an executive engineering consultant and Nick Chester as technical director. But the real bombshell, the move that silenced anyone calling this a half-baked effort, was the announcement that General Motors would become a full power unit manufacturer. They created a new company just for this, led by GM veteran Russ Oblines. They are building their own power unit. Let that sink in. While they'll start with customer Ferrari power units in 2026 to get on the grid, the plan is to have a full-works, American-built Cadillac power unit in the cars by 2029. This is the holy grail in F1. It puts them in the same league as Mercedes, Ferrari, and future works teams like Audi. They aren't just coming to play, they're coming to win. Before we get into how this whole mess spilled over into the US government and who might actually drive these cars, do us a quick favor. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the story that's shaking up the F1 paddock, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss how this incredible saga unfolds. Just when you thought this couldn't get more dramatic, the fight went to Washington, D.C.
Oh, shit.
The rejection of an American team, backed by an American auto giant, didn't go unnoticed by American politicians. Seeing what looked a lot like anti-competitive behavior from a European-based club, members of the US Congress got involved. A bipartisan group of 12 members of Congress wrote a scathing letter to Liberty Media, F1's American owners, demanding to know why the team was rejected. They accused Formula One management of caving to pressure from existing European teams and pointed out that this could violate American antitrust laws. The letter flatly stated, it is unfair and wrong to attempt to block American companies from joining Formula One. The pressure ramped up when 7 US senators formally asked the Department of Justice to launch an investigation into F1 for potential antitrust violations. By August 2024, Liberty Media's CEO confirmed the DOJ was investigating the matter. This was unprecedented. Suddenly, F1 executives were facing a federal investigation. After months of immense political pressure and a leadership shuffle that saw Michael Andretti step back, F1 reversed its decision. In March 2025, it was confirmed that Cadillac would be the 11th team on the grid for the 2026 season. So, with the Cadillac F1 team officially on a clear path to the 2026 grid, two huge questions remain. What will it take to be competitive, and who's going to be driving the cars? The team is already deep in development, using Toyota's wind tunnel in Cologne and taking advantage of every rule that gives new teams a head start. The goal, as Mario Andretti has said, is to be ready to fight from the very first race. The driver market is where the rumor mill is really churning. The team's goal is to pair an experienced F1 veteran with young American talent. For the veteran seat, several names are in the mix. Sergio Perez, with his years of experience and strong commercial appeal in the Americas, has been heavily linked with the team. Other experienced drivers like Valtteri Bottas have also been mentioned. On the American side, the obvious frontrunner is IndyCar star Colton Herta, who is already part of the Andretti motorsport family. But his path is complicated by the FIA's strict super license point system, so his performance in other series will be critical. Mario Andretti has also shown interest in another rising star, Pato O'Ward, noting his tremendous talent. The team is keeping its options open, likely waiting as long as possible to snag the most competitive drivers available for the 2026 season. What we're witnessing is more than just a new Formula One team being born. It's a paradigm shift. An American powerhouse forged in rejection and backed by industrial might simply refused to take no for an answer. They faced down the F1 establishment, brought a corporate giant to the table, built a real technical operation from scratch, and even got the US government involved in the fight. The result is the Cadillac F1 team, which is now set to join the grid in 2026. While the original entry fee was $200 million, reports indicate that under the new Concord agreement, the final figure was a staggering $450 million. This was never just about expanding the grid. This was about crashing the party and building a bigger one. It's a story of ambition, strategy, and unapologetic American determination. The real question is no longer if they will join, but how quickly they can start winning. What do you think of this incredible journey? Will Cadillac be competitive in their first year, and who do you think should be in their driver lineup for 2026? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you want more stories from the world of F1, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.